May 4th. Happy May the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars Day. I'm just going to warn you before we get into today's sermon that this one's going to have some ouch moments in it. Okay? And I know that because when I was writing my outline for this, it had some ouch moments for me personally. And I was thinking about this all week when I was getting ready, like figuring out what I was going to talk about today. And to be honest, I had something completely different that I felt like I should talk about. But realizing that this Sunday sermon fell on May 4th, I decided that this is a great time to talk about imposter syndrome and imposters. Because I know that they've been rampant lately. I know that everybody on social media, I don't care if you have 5 followers or 5 million followers, there's a scammer out there with your name. There's a scammer out there using your face. There is someone out there that has stolen your ideas. There is someone out there that is currently stealing other people's ideas. We've all seen it. We've all dealt with it. And it's really funny because when I started to write out my outline about today, I thought about, really, I started thinking about my time on TikTok, my time on social media, right? And how many people I have seen steal other people's ideas. Not just mine, like rampant across this app, right? And I started thinking about several different TED Talks and current modern day philosophers that I follow and how they all talk about how your path is unique from someone else's. And I wrote down this quote, your path is unique. Own it. Even if others try to walk it like it's theirs. Listen to that again. Your path is unique. Own it. Even if others try to walk it like it's theirs. Because here's the thing. If other people are trying to walk your path like it's their path, like they're you, you should feel sorry for that person. You really should. I'm going to tell you why. They're going to end up redoing this life because the path that they were supposed to walk, they didn't. And I was reminded of, I used to, for those of you guys that don't know, I used to be a writer. I don't do a lot anymore, frankly, because I got burnt out for a long time. But I've worked for very large publishing companies here in the U.S. And during my time doing that, and during my time being a ghostwriter, and I have hundreds, over 200 published titles since 1996. And here's what's funny. Before I go on with my story, I told somebody that a year ago, and they said, well, you must be one of the most prolific writers ever. Why haven't I heard of you? Y'all realize that in today's age, a lot of things are ghost written, correct? Y'all realize that since the 70s, a lot of the biographies, the autobiographies, all of those things are ghost written. They're not written by the actual person. Someone is paid to write that book, and then somebody else's name is stamped on it. I do have a ton of books and novels with my name on them, though. Published by publishing companies, not just self-published on Amazon. But at one point, I was one of the most sought-after writers when it came to MMORPG games. I had my written work used in U.S. patents over virtual character design. I had companies from all over the world reaching out to me. I have either edited, heavily edited, created, written, drawn maps, etc. for 32 MMORPG video games. And in that time, that was the first time I ever experienced somebody stealing written works. And to be honest, at first, I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't. This was in the early 2000s. I didn't know how to handle it. I couldn't just, the internet was still a baby then, you know? I couldn't just go on and fire off some shit and be like, look here, fucker, don't use my shit. I actually had to get an attorney. I actually had to go to an attorney's office and have them write a letter to this person, to this company, saying, this is copyrighted information, we will sue you. 3 times. Now it's rampant. People plagiarize each other. People plagiarize ideas all the time. And I'm not going to lie, when that happens, you do start to doubt yourself. You start to doubt yourself. The first reaction is anger. The first reaction is anger. When somebody copies you, you get mad. You get angry. What the fuck, Holmes? Get your own idea. Learn to write yourself, right? You get mad. And then you start to, in your brain, go, well, if they stole that, then maybe it wasn't really the best idea. Or you start to even think this. Maybe they had that idea first. You start to doubt yourself. You start to doubt yourself. And that's where imposter syndrome comes in. Since today is May 4th, may the 4th be with you. I sprinkled a lot of Star Wars quotes in this Sunday sermon. The Force is your own inner compass, your own integrity. And I'm going to speak in a very dualistic tone here, both to those of you that are unapologetically original and those of you that copy other people because whatever reason. There is a good side of the Force and there's a bad side of the Force. And both of them are equally powerful. It's just like in life. There are very high integrity things and a good side, and there is stealing and a bad side. Both of them are equally powerful. And here's the thing, depending on where you stand, you're going to see your side as the good side. The other side is the bad side, right? When you have an inner vision, when you have an idea, when you have something that you're striving for, you're going to doubt yourself. Anybody that tells you they don't ever have a moment of doubt is a bold-faced fucking liar, and I will stand on that with my whole chest. I don't care who it is you're talking about. I don't care if it's the richest person in the world. I don't care if it's a Rockefeller who comes from generations of powerful people. I don't care if it's Susie from down the street that grew up poor as dirt. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to have a moment where you think, I'm not cut out for this. I'm not good enough for this. Everybody has that moment. And that right there is the fork in the road. That is the moment where you have to decide which path you're going to walk, because there is no middle path. There is this way or this way. There's no middle path here. When you have that moment of doubt, when you're putting together an idea, when you're putting together a story, when you're putting together a business, when you're putting together a video, when you're putting together anything, and that moment of doubt hits, because it will, you have to decide if you're going to let that doubt win. If you're going to say, you know what? If I do this, somebody's just going to copy me. They're just going to rip me off. They're just going to make more money with this idea than I am because they have XYZ. And a lot of people get stuck right there. And I want you to think, How many of you have gotten stuck right there? How many times have you had an idea pop up in your head and you're like, oh my God, that is a great fucking idea. You write it down, you start kind of making the plans, and then the next day you look at it and you're like, yeah, but I don't have, money to spend on this. I don't know how to build a website. I don't know how to do this and this and this and this and this. And you let this doubt win. And that idea just sits on a piece of paper somewhere or gets deleted off your phone. I've done it. I've done it. I've done it. You've all done it. Anybody that says they've never done that, they're a liar. I'm going to call them that straight to your face. I'm calling shenanigans. But how many times have you said, you know what? That is a great idea and I'm fucking going for it. I guarantee you, you've taken that path over there more times than you've taken this path, haven't you? I know I have in the past. The other thing that comes with stepping out onto that path, stepping out onto the path that you're supposed to be walking, is there's a healthy dose of fear there. There's a healthy dose of fear there. Story time. Once upon a time, I played the part. I played the part. I didn't have colored hair. I had tattoos that could be hidden. I was the soccer mom in the SUV. I was the homeroom parent. I was head of the PTA. I towed the line. I did all the things. I played nicely with everybody. I took on way too many things. And I ran myself ragged trying to make everybody else happy. And that's not how I was raised. In any way, shape, or form. In any way, shape, or form. I was raised by upper middle class hippies. I mean, that's literally what they were. Upper middle class hippies. I grew up outside of Denver and Westminster in a nice little suburb. We had a vacation cabin in Missouri on the lake. Every weekend we were in the mountains in our extra vehicle doing very hippie things. My dad teaching us how to walk silently in the woods. My dad passing on the things that his mother and grandmother and so on had taught from his dad's side, the Cherokee side, and his mom's side, the Potawatomi side. We learned all those things. I was taught to be different. I was taught to buck the system. I was taught to think for myself. I was taught to research and make up my own mind. But when you get in a place where you realize that you have to go along to get along, and how many times are we told that? How many times have you heard that specific wording? Go along to get along. Toe the line. Live in the suburb with the cookie cutter house. Get married. Have 2.4 children. Have the picket fence. Have the American dream. How many times have you been told that? How many times have you settled? How many times have you dimmed down who you are and literally walked off of your path? Scared the shit out of me. Did it scare the shit out of you? How many times have you walked off of your path? Because you were too afraid to be who you are, to be who you're supposed to be. I toed that line for a long time. And there finally came a day when I realized that I was wasting time. I was wasting time. I was wasting my path. I was wasting any talent that I had. I was wasting everything that I had been put here to do. How can you be raised in a way where you're taught to be different? Where you're taught to be unique? and you just fall in line like the Stepford wife. And I'm not going to lie. Before I fully made the decision to say, fuck this, I wrestled with myself for about 3 weeks. About 3 weeks. I knew that it meant a complete reprogramming up here. I knew that it meant a complete teardown of all the things, all of the masks that I had been wearing. I knew that it meant being ridiculed. I knew that it meant losing friends. I knew that it meant moving. I knew that it meant not being in my comfort zone. And I want to put it in a very black and white manner for you. You have a finite amount of time in the meat sack that you're currently riding in. You have a finite amount of time. You don't have forever in that meat sack. You don't have forever in that meat sack. Think about that. How old are you right now? How old are you right now? Do you know the current lifespan, the average lifespan of a man or a woman in the place where you live? Because they're different. They're different. Let's just say that in the United States, and I'm going to take myself for an example, a woman normally lives to be in their 80s, right? 80, 84, 85. Then you add in chronic illnesses, diabetes, heart problems, epilepsy, lupus, fibromyalgia. Any of the slew of things that are out there that plague women because we're not really taken very well. We're not taken care of very well. What does that knock your lifespan down to? What do you think that knocks your end time in that meat sack to? I just turned 48 in January. 48. When I decided to step out on my path and say, fuck all of this shit. Fuck the rules. Fuck the masks. Fuck falling in line. Fuck doing what someone else tells me. Oh yeah, we're going to quote Rage Against the Machine. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. I was 42. 41, excuse me. I was 41. About to turn 42. And I'm not going to lie, I was scared shitless. I was scared shitless. But I felt the clock going tick, 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 tick. I knew that I had taken this path over here. I had let this path over here win. I had let the dark side win. Because to me, falling in line and being somebody that I'm not is the dark side. It is the dark side. Following someone else's rule of what I should be, of who I should be, of how I should look, is someone else's rule. And that, to me, is the dark side. And it should be to you too. Not a single one of you listening, nor a single one of you that ever will exist, was born to be a cookie cutter version of someone else. No human that ever existed or will exist is the exact same as someone else. Even if somebody were to clone 10 versions of me, we might have the same traits, we might look the same, we might share the same DNA, but we will never be the exact same person. Do you know why? Because two people cannot exist in the same meat sack at the same time and have the same exact experiences. So if you're trying to follow a version of you that someone else thinks you should be, that's the dark side. If you're falling in line with what a spouse wants you to be or how to look, that's the dark side, my friend. If you're actively ignoring who you are, who your soul is, baby, that's the dark side. When I decided to step out and leave the comforts of the dark side, because it's comfortable. You know what every day is going to be. You have your little uniform that you put on. It's great. You all drink the same Kool-Aid. It's fantastic. When you decide to leave the comfort of the dark side and you step out into the good, you step out onto the path you're supposed to be on. Oh, it's scary as fuck. Scary as fuck. You lose so much. The very first thing I did was dye my hair way the fuck up here. I used to have like my, tips of my hair dyed. Maybe a streak here or there. For those of you guys that have been following me for a long time, can you picture me with anything like normal hair? Can you picture me with straight platinum blonde hair? Do y'all know I'm a redhead? I kept my hair blonde because someone else liked it that way. Now, this is my natural color now because redheads turn white. But I kept myself looking different. So the very first thing I did was to dye this fucking shit. And I haven't looked back. I've kept it dyed. I was told not to shave the sides of my head, that I was much prettier when I didn't try to do that, that they understood my counterculture need. I was much prettier without my head shaved. I fucking Britney Speared that bitch. Not only did I shave the sides of my head, I went full on shield maiden cut. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. When I was told that I should never tattoo my hands because I would never ever get a job again. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. When I was told that sleeves looked trashy on a woman. Bitch, I almost have a full jacket. And my neck tattooed. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. It's a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. I bring that up. I bring the hair. I bring the tattoos up because I have watched so many people on social media suddenly have their hair like mine. Suddenly have the blue reverse ombre. I've watched so many people suddenly have tattoos. I've watched so many people have their hair, have their face, have their makeup, have their content just like mine. And to be honest, at first I was like, you ho! Get your own look. What the fuck, man? And I'm not going to lie, when I see people suddenly go from maybe they had pink hair for years and suddenly they have this, I'm like, what the fuck, Holmes? And then I take a breath and I remember that quote. And I'm going to say it again. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Bitches, come on, man. I've got a big old trail. Y'all can all walk down it. Every one of you. In fact, we should make that trail so fucking big it becomes a highway. It becomes an interstate. With our middle fingers held high and our tattoos and our shaved heads and our colored hair and our weird shoes and our over-the-top makeup. Our loud voices. Our snort laughs. You are not required to shrink to make other people comfortable. But we do. But we do. All of us do. Think about it. All of us do. Because we're told to. We're told that we need to look like this person in Hollywood or this person in Hollywood, that this is what's cool right now, right? It's pushed in our faces constantly. Social media, TV, movies. You have to look like this to be cool, right? Bitch, I grew up in the 80s. I grew up with MTV. I grew up watching the punk scene. When I was 8, I made the decision that I wanted shaved head. I wanted tattoos. I wanted to be like the punk scene because I loved it. Because I loved what it stood for. Because that's how I was raised. Nonconformity. And every time, and I want you guys to really think about this, okay? Every time I personally started to get on that path of nonconformity, something came along, because the universe will always test a bitch. Something came along. Usually, for me, it was in the form of some knight in shining armor, handsome dude that was gonna, let me be who I was because they loved me for who I was. And they changed me every time. And I let them. Because we're told that's what we're supposed to do, right? Right? That's your job. Here's your next Star Wars quote. You ready? You must unlearn what you have learned. Master Yoda. I want each and every one of you to do something for me this week. I want each and every one of you to do something this week for you. I want you to go look up Stuart Smalley, Saturday Night Live skit, Stuart Smalley on YouTube. He's the one that looked in the mirror and was like, "You're good enough. And gosh darn it, people love you." I want you to look that up. I want you to look that up. Do you know why? Because I want you to start saying that to yourself. And do it funny at first. And here's why you want to do it funny. Because humor will always imprint itself on your brain much more than any serious thing I could tell you. You might kind of remember that you listened to this sermon on the 4th with the force, and that I imbued you with the force. But you will remember that more because it's funny. A long, long time ago, 5 years ago, when I got on TikTok, I started telling people one little sentence. That many little words. And for some reason, I stopped saying it. I think it was because I actually started doubting myself for a hot minute. After people started trying to steal business ideas, started to steal all kinds of stuff from me, I really let that get to me. How many of y'all know what those 4 little words are? Most of you do. You are the prize. You are the prize. That quote is 100% by the Blue Bodhi, just so you know. Dealing with people that copy you is a pain in the butt. Dealing with people that steal your ideas and take them and twist them into something that you might think is better or worse sucks. It is 100% a kick in the nuts. To watch somebody take something that you are, something that you've done, and take it and do something else with it. Do y'all know why I have not hennaed my hands in a hot minute? Because instead of people taking their own ideas and doing something for themselves, somebody created those little copper things. And when I saw that, I said, you know what? I will never do that again. That's my symbol. They don't have the thing up and down, so it's not quite the same, but you know exactly what I'm saying. And all of these practitioners, all of these energy workers, all of these Reiki masters that have to use those to amplify their practice, I'm going to go ahead and say this, and I'm going to say it with my full chest. Are you ready? They aren't real. I said what I said. They aren't real. If you have to use something like that to amplify, that's bunk. All you have to do is be attuned to Reiki 1, and you're able to channel that energy. You don't need a gimmick. You don't need something like that. Y'all, I take my rings off during Reiki. If I really needed an amplifier, would I not leave those bitches on? It's bunk. They don't do anything but make you look like a copycat at this point. Because now a lot of people have them. I'm not going to say everyone, but a lot of people have them. And I want you to notice. I want you to notice when you go into someone's energy work session. And does it sound like I'm being mean right now? Fuck yeah, it does. You know why? Because I've sat and I've watched it for too long. When you go into someone's Reiki session and you're like, ooh, you immediately get the tingles. You immediately are like, yeah, bitch, yeah, let's go. And they don't have a goddamn thing on their hands. You know that that person's legit. You know that they've been attuned. You know that they can channel that energy in. When you go into somebody else's life that's doing energy work and so on, and you see that they're adorned with all this stuff, looking like everybody else, things all over their hands, and you kind of sit there for a minute and then you scroll away, what does that tell you? Y'all, you're a big old satellite dish. And I want you to think of it in that way. Your meat sack is a big old satellite dish. It's so sensitive to energies, to frequencies. Trust your gut. You know damn well when you do something where it hits you. Does it hit you here? Does it hit you in the gut? Does it hit you up here? Where does it hit you? Your intuition, every one of you has your intuition that is on point all the time. But as we talked about earlier, we're taught to ignore that and to fall in line and to be this cookie cutter version of whatever. Here's your next Star Wars quote. You ready? And I can't pronounce the name of the person that said it, so please forgive me. But you ready? They fear you. In their eyes, you're something dangerous. That's why they try to control you. Let me say that again. Are you ready? They fear you. In their eyes, you're something dangerous. That's why they try to control you. Let that sink in a minute. Is every one of you thinking about times when somebody tried to control you? Is every one of you thinking about times when someone tried to dim your light? Is every one of you thinking about a time when you stopped being who you were being and you stopped walking on your path for someone else? They fear you. When you're born, When you first arrive on this plane in this meat sack that you're currently riding around in, you're a blank slate. You're a blank slate. When we're born, we usually remember a little bit of the life we just came from. That's why you see those little babies that they just look like they've been through some shit and some stuff. They've seen some things. That's why we've all seen those babies that were like, ooh, that is an old person in there. That is why there are some of those babies, and I want you to do this. I want you to do this because you're going to come across a baby that you look at and you're like, that is an old ass soul riding in that meat sack. And I want you to say this to them. Weird as it sounds, I want you to say this to them. And I'm talking about babies under 4 months old. I want you to say this to them, especially if they're like in the 1 to 2 months range. Hold their little hand and grin and say, I see you in there. And watch their reaction. Watch their reaction. They're going to grin at you every time. Do it. When you arrive in this meat sack that you're in, you're a blank slate. Who you're given to, who your parents are, where you're born, the schools you go to, the life you live, all of that stuff, it gets programmed into you. It does. We're all a blank little meat sack computer. Everything gets programmed into us. Babies don't hate because they don't know how to hate. Babies don't love because they don't know how to love. Babies are neutral. I want you to think about that. Everything that you are has been programmed into you. Deep down inside, you are a soul. You are an original person. You will never be like anyone else. And you have a mission that you're supposed to be doing here. And sometimes the programming is so strong that we forget all about that. That we forget all about that. And sometimes we're given the opportunity to break out of that programming and to walk the path we're supposed to walk. And then the universe sends a test. That perfect soulmate, that perfect job, the perfect house. The universe will always send a test. Every single time. And the only person that can pass or fail that test is you. And I'm going to tell you a secret right now. Because some of you are like, yeah, I've failed a lot. Baby, we all have. We all have failed that fucking test repeatedly. What'd you learn from that failure? If you walk by the end of your bed, you get a new bed, you walk by the end of the bed, and you hit your knee on it every fucking time. It's only going to take a couple of times, and you're going to start swinging way out around it. Yeah? Sweetie, you can only fail so many times before your brain goes, bitch, I ain't doing that again. Think about it. How many times have you gotten off track? Have you failed that exam? And now at this point in your life, you're like, bitch, I ain't doing that again. Think about it. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. You tried. You went out on that limb. It didn't work. It's okay. And I'm not saying that like, oh, it's okay. I'm not saying it like that. It's okay. Because what did you learn from it? And some of you guys are like, well, I failed a lot. What did you learn from it? And if you sit there and you're like, what do you mean? That's your homework for the week. What did you learn from it? What did you learn from it? Walk your path with courage. No one else was meant to walk it but you. That's an unknown quote, but I loved it. Do you remember just a little bit ago when I told you that as soon as I decided that fuck you, I won't do what you tell me was my mood for the rest of my life? And I shaved my head and I dyed my hair and I tattooed the shit out of myself. Do you remember when I told you that? What you do when no one is watching defines who you are. So what did you learn from those failures? What did you learn? And I want you to look at it in this way, because some of you are like, I don't know. I don't know. It just hurt. It was a lot of hurt and I'm still trying to heal from it. And that's fine. Don't let anybody tell you that you need to get over something because it's been this long. Side note, if anybody ever tells you that you need to get over something, you need to get over a lost relationship, losing a dog, losing an animal, losing a friend, losing a parent, any kind of anything, if they tell you that you need to get over it, you better burn that relationship to the ground. There don't even need to be a shred of a bridge left, because a person that wants to tell you something like that is 100% trying to control you. Let's say that you're going mountain climbing. Let's say you're going mountain climbing. Okay? Your whole dream has been to reach the top of this mountain and just look out, right? Just see what you can see. You want to see the curve of the earth. You want to see it. You want to get up there and go, oh, I can't breathe. There's no oxygen. This is great. You want to get up there and you want to feel like you accomplished something epic, right? So let's say that you start to take this path right here, because that's the easiest path, right? It's a big old wide path. There's lots of people going up and down it. It's easy. And let's say you start to go up that path and you fall. And you get up, you're like, yeah, fuck that. I'm going to keep going. You fall again. And you're like, oh, well, maybe I'll go the other way. So you go the other way. And something happens on that path. And you come back down and you go a different way. And a different way. And a different way. And a different way. And finally, you're sitting back down at the bottom and you're like, I don't really want to climb that mountain anymore. Because you've been told no on all these other paths. All these big old paths where everybody else was walking. All those big paths where everyone else was walking. Are you going to sit there on the bench and just wait for people to come down and show you the pictures that they took? Because most people are. Most people are going to sit there on the bench and they're going to wait for their friends to come back down or to send them the pictures from the top of the mountain. Why? The dark side is not stronger, only quicker, easier, more seductive. It's another Yoda quote. The dark side is that bench at the bottom of the mountain. The dark side is copying someone else's path. The dark side is just sitting there waiting for somebody else to come along and give you all the answers. So instead of sitting on the bench and giving up, what did you learn from each one of those paths? What did you learn from those two falls on the first path? What did you learn from twisting your ankle on the second path? What did you learn from the tree branch hitting you in the arm on the third path? What did you learn? And for those of you that are like, I don't know, it just sucked, it just hurt, you know, I want you to really think. Because this is a time, this is a pivotal moment where you decide if you're going to grow or if you're going to sit on the bench at the bottom and wait for everybody else to show you the pictures of the top of the mountain. What did you learn? When you fell, what did you see? Did you lay there for a minute and look up and go, that tree is so beautiful? Did you lay there and go, that rock is a bitch, that hurt? What did you learn? I've fallen so many times. I have fallen so many times in my life. Both literal and metaphorical. And every single time, for a little while, I let it get to me. And when I'd fall, I'd say, well, I wasn't meant to do that. And every time I'd pull a card, or I'd get all the signs from the universe, bitch, get back up, I would say, well, I'm just going to sit on this bench right here. Because the dark side is not stronger. Only quicker, easier, more seductive. Being in your comfort zone is the dark side. Being in your comfort zone and conforming is the dark side. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Y'all, they make machetes for a reason. They make machetes for a reason. Do you know what a machete's use is for? It's for cutting a wide path in the jungle. It's for forging a path where there wasn't one before. What was that quote I just said? Do not go where the path may lead. Instead, go where there is no path and leave a trail. Bitch, I'm handing you the fucking machete. Go make a trail. Go make a path. Go make a fucking highway. I have faith in you. I know you can do it. Your focus determines your reality. That's a Qui-Gon Jinn quote. Here's another one I'm going to throw at you. Ready? Be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. That's a quote from Jennifer Lee. Be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. What gets you worked up? What gets you worked up? What was your dream when you were 8? What was your dream when you were 16? What was your dream when you were 40? Because I know some of you guys are sitting there going, well, I'm this age and I'm this age or I'm this age and I can't start over. Bullshit. Shenanigans, malarkey, lies. Y'all, I have had four different lives in this one meat sack. I was a very highly sought after writer. I was a professional gamer. I was the PTA president. And now I am the blue Bodhi. Every time I felt my gut say, bitch, that path isn't for you anymore, I have walked away from lucrative careers. I could still be a very prolific writer that people all over the world would contact to do stuff for them. But my gut said, mm-mm. So I did. I pivoted. I became a professional gamer right when esports was becoming esports. I could have been at the tip top of that. The pinnacle, gone down in the history books. But something in my gut said, mm-mm, mm-mm. I also had a test, and I failed that test. But now, in my 40s, I fully decided, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. And when I want to do something, I fucking do it. I fucking do it. One of the things that cracks me up the most is when somebody tells Sass, can you make Bodhi do this? Can you get Bodhi to do this? And I'm paraphrasing Sass's quote here, but this is Bodhi's train and I just take the tickets. Y'all, this is your train. You're the conductor on your own badass Mad Max zombie squishing train. Don't take the tickets. Don't let the conductor tell you what to do. Don't let some passenger say, hey, I need to get off here. Bitch, jump, tuck and roll. Throw your bag out first. I'm just saying what I'm saying. The dark side isn't stronger, just quicker and easier and more seductive. Following someone else's footsteps, copying someone else, doing what someone else tells you is the dark side. I want you to let that sink in. So what side are you on? If you're on the dark side, that's fine. If the dark side is your comfort zone and you are not prepared to step out of that comfort zone, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So please don't think that I'm saying, oh, bitch, you got to do all this shit. You know when it's time for you to shift, to change, to pivot, to move, to climb the mountain, to take the fucking photo. To stand up there in awe at the world around you. This week, I just want you guys to look around. I want you to observe your life. I want you to observe your life, and I want you to look at the things that you're doing, and I want you to think about what you've learned. Because we're at a very interesting time in history right now. We're at a very interesting time in history right now. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. There is no dark side and there is no force. There is no red, there is no blue. There's purple. I want you to let that sink in. Every one of you is a powerful motherfucker. Whether you consider yourself a Sith Lord or a Jedi Master, you're a powerful motherfucker. How long have you been letting someone else tell you differently? Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. I'm just saying what I'm saying. For those of y'all that are new to watching, new to listening, I am the Blue Bodhi. Every single Sunday at noon Central, we will have a Sunday sermon. I'll make you question your whole life as I question mine. And we'll all forge a path, a trail that never existed, and make that bitch become an interstate. Go be a powerful, badass motherfucker this week, my friends. I love you. I'll see you next Sunday.